Good morning. This is Baptist for Liberty. I'm your host, Joanna Works, and today is Wednesday, July 23rd. Happy Hump Day. Yay, we made it to the middle of the week. Okay, so I had no idea what I was going to cover today, and so I was glancing through trying to find something online, and I found this from, it's written by Ken Ham. It's a part of answersingenesis.org. It's one of their blogs. And I thought this was funny. Huffington Post admits its site was always meant to be fiction. Alright, this was published yesterday. The article reads, well, the Huffpost didn't actually say that, but I'm using the same kind of logic and headline grabber one of its writers used in responding to an article I wrote recently. I thought this was especially funny. I mean, not just the headline in itself. I was like, wait, what? And it certainly did grab my attention. I thought this is ridiculous. But, we have so many headlines online, especially. I think the internet is probably worse than newspapers or printed material. I could be wrong. But it's like they always have these headlines that either have nothing to do with the subject, or it's so conflated or over dramatized or something ridiculous. And I just find it so annoying. So I thought this was really funny. Also, I know Mr. Kinham is always going back and forth with the media, because the media does misrepresent Christians, and it especially misrepresents creation and why we believe in it and the science behind it. A good documentary that I really enjoyed was Expelled, No Intelligence Required. I think that's what it was called. Well, the main title was Expelled. If you look that up, you'll find it. Who was it? Ben Stein, that's who it was the host of that documentary. And it was very interesting because it goes through academia and the science world and how hard it is for people to openly admit that they're not just Christians, but that they're creationists. Now, you can be a Christian, you can be Jewish, you can be Muslim, you can be any religion as long as you believe in evolution. But you're a creationist, you get in trouble. I mean, there's people who are agnostic or atheists, but if they say creation, oh my goodness. There was one particular writer, he was an originally writer, he was a scientist, and he specialized in studying DNA and how it works. And he just got to this point where he said that it has to be by design. And so he doesn't use the word creation. He was very careful and always said intelligent design. But what does it mean? I mean, that's just a nice way of saying creation. But because creation and creationists is so linked to Christians in particular, and then some scientists who aren't Christians are very careful and use intelligent design. And he, as far as I know, he has not yet converted or come to any scriptural or biblical truth, but there are scientists that God's handiwork and of itself reveals himself. And there are stories of scientists who, when God reveals his handiwork and they see the intelligent design, they go and they pick up different kinds of religious books and they start searching, because there's people who are genuinely interested in science because they want the truth. They're digging for knowledge and understanding, and so when they get to that point of intelligent design, they go after trying to figure out, okay, who is this intelligent designer? And sometimes the Lord uses this to open their eyes to the scriptures and his truth. Not always. Sometimes the person goes from being a diehard atheist to an agnostic. And atheists get mad and call agnostics lazy atheists. Like they're trying to ride the line. But that's not it at all. It's, hey, we don't believe in a particular deity, but because of our understanding of the world, whether they're scientists or something else, they're like, there has to be some kind of intelligent design. Even if we can't see him or understand his activity in the world today. And that's sad because obviously God is active in the world today. He is with us for sure. Alright, so I'm going to get back to this article. Yesterday I was intrigued when my Google alerts brought up headlines from atheist websites such as these. Creationist Ken Ham calls to end space program because aliens are going to hell anyway. Creationist Ken Ham, aliens are going to hell, so just stop looking for them. And then this headline comes from this secularist, often anti-Christian website, Huffington Post. Creationist Ken Ham says aliens will go to hell, so let's stop looking for them. Other secular sites had similar headlines. Actually, I did laugh out loud when I read them. The secularists came up with stunning creative headlines to draw in their readers, but when I started to read their articles, I realized that these writers seemed to actually believe this nonsense about aliens in hell that their headlines blared. Well, yeah, it is ridiculous, and you might think the first one might be funny, but three of them, and I think this goes to show a lack of creativity within the media. They get a talking point, and they all repeat it. They repeat key phrases or keywords, and then the rest of it is window dressing based on the individual writer's style or history or expertise in the area, or complete and utter ignorance, so they fill it in with their own imagination or what they've heard regurgitated over and over again. I mean, these three headlines are almost the exact same. So, I don't see that much creativity in that. I see the redundancy of thought. But yes, it is outrageous that people actually believe that. However, if you understand, most of these intellectual types really believe in aliens, and that's where this comes from. Because academia is now teaching that aliens planted the seeds of life here on this planet. It isn't just something that's in our entertainment, fictional movies and books. This is something that people like, I think, Hawkins actually teach. And people think Hawkins is the most intelligent man alive, if not ever. So, yes, it's sad, but how deep it goes is much more alarming than just these headlines and articles. Okay. It seems that one of our atheist opponents in Illinois is so obsessed with answers in Genesis that he often comes up with some pieces of fiction that he thinks attack us, and others, like lambs led to slaughter, just follow blindly after him like the Huffpost writer. Sadly, it's typical of this Illinois writer and other atheists. Not surprisingly, they have no basis in absolute truth in their purposeless universe, who are not concerned at being accurate. Excuse me, I think I'm going to reread that. Sadly, it's typical of this Illinois writer and other atheists. Not surprisingly, they have no basis in absolute truth in their purposeless universe, who are not concerned at being accurate. Truth, in quotation marks, to them is relative, and whatever they can post or print to attack AiG that it is not accurate is okay by them. And that's not just AiG. If you're in the crosshairs of news media for one reason or another, then yeah, truth is relevant. It's pliable, it's flexible, it's whatever they want it to be. I mean, they have their worldview for a reason, and they're going to defend that worldview. And if you're outside of it, you're fair game. And this goes with political, this goes with social, religious, and science. And with AiG, in many ways, they cross over all four of those realms, but particularly the religious and science. But what did I actually write? Now, the Huffington Post article reports, in quotation marks, that's not a good word, let me try again, distorts my article about the search for life in outer space this way. Creationist Ken Ham, who recently debated Bill Nye the Science Guy over the origins of the universe, is calling for an end to the search for extraterrestrial life because aliens probably don't exist, and if they do, they're going to hell anyway. You see, the Bible makes it clear that Adam's sin affected the whole universe, Ham wrote on his blog on Sunday. This means that any aliens would also be affected by Adam's sin, but because they are not Adam's descendants, they can't have salvation. But Ham, president and CEO of Answers in Genesis and the Creation Museum in Pittsburgh, Kentucky, said we probably are alone. He wrote, Earth was especially created, and the entire hunt for extraterrestrials is really driven by man's rebellion against God in a desperate attempt to supposedly prove evolution. If aliens do exist, however, Ham said, even Jesus can't save them. Now here is what I actually wrote in response to an article that claimed aliens would be found somewhere else in the universe within 20 years. The Bible, in sharp contrast to the secular worldview, teaches that Earth was specially created, that it is unique and the focus of God's attention. And he gives Isaiah 66:1 and Psalms 115:16. 115 verse 16. Life did not evolve but was specially created by God, as Genesis clearly teaches. Christians certainly shouldn't expect alien life to be cropping up across the universe. Now, the Bible doesn't say whether there is or is not animal or plant life in outer space. I certainly suspect not. The earth was created for human life, and the sun and moon were created for signs in our seasons and to declare the glory of God. And I do believe there can't be other intelligent beings in outer space because of the meaning of the gospel. You see, the Bible makes it clear that Adam's sin affected the whole universe. This means that any aliens would also be affected by Adam's sin. But because they are not Adam's descendants, they can't have salvation. One day the whole universe will be judged by fire, and there will be a new heavens and earth. God's Son stepped into history to be Jesus Christ, the God-man, to be our relative and to be the perfect sacrifice for sin to save our mankind. Jesus did not become the God Klingon or the God Martian. Only descendants of Adam can be saved. God's Son remains the God-man as our Savior. In fact, the Bible makes it clear that we see the Father through the Son, and we see the Son through His Word. To suggest that aliens could respond to the gospel is just totally wrong. An understanding of the gospel makes it clear that salvation through Christ is only for the Adamic race. Human beings are all descendants of Adam. Many secularists want to discover alien life, hoping that aliens can answer the deepest questions of life. Where did we come from? And what is the purpose and meaning of life? But such people are ignoring the revelation from the infinite God behind the whole universe. The Creator has told us where we came from. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, Genesis 1:1, Nehemiah 9:6. And He told us that life's purpose is fear God and keep His commandments, Ecclesiastes 12:13. The answers to life's questions will not be found in imaginary aliens, but in the revelation of the Creator through the Bible and His Son Jesus Christ, who came to die on a cross to redeem mankind from sin and death that our ancestor Adam introduced. We need to start proclaiming the authority of God's Word from the very first verse, even on the subject of alien life. For more information on the supposed existence of ETs and other common questions about a biblical worldview, I encourage you to order the New Answers book series from our bookstore. Or for witnessing purposes, we have a booklet that can be ordered in bulk with special pricing to help teach people the truth about aliens and UFOs and promote the gospel for your local church or youth programs. End of his article there. So, is there intelligent life outer space? After reading the Huffington Post article and the other items on secular websites responding to my article, my answer is yes. There doesn't seem to be much intelligent life left here on Earth, let alone to find any in outer space. Of course, he has a smiley face, a little devious looking one. Oh, and a lot of what is written on Huffington Post is really fiction, including some of the items that Huffpost has written about AiG and the Creation Museum, as many of you already know. Also, I just saw that the Cleveland Later news website has posted an article titled Creationist Ken Ham wants to defund NASA because he says aliens cannot go to heaven. Just ridiculous. It is sad to see that the sorry state of news reporting in this nation. Looking for aliens. Since secularists and some media outlets have been falsely accusing me of saying aliens are going to hell when I don't even believe in aliens, AiG astronomer Dr. Danny Faulkner helped me search the heavens for aliens using a telescope, and guess what we found? Watch the short video below to find out. Yes, we are telling NASA to keep up their search for aliens. Find out why. And it has a 1-minute video. Alright, I'm going to close today's program a little early. And I've been running over our time quite a bit lately. I hope you guys enjoyed today's program. I thought that was very interesting. And, that headline, I think a lot of people could have used that headline and referenced Huffington Post hit and run piece for so many different subjects, I'm sure. Alright, but today is the 23rd, so our proverb today is the 23rd proverb. I know I say that as if I'm referring to Psalms, the 23rd Psalm. No, it's Proverbs 23, sorry. Okay. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings, they fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. Remove not the old landmark, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless. For their Redeemer is mighty, he shall plead their cause with thee. Apply thine heart unto instruction, and thine ears to the words of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell. My son, if thine heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. Yea, my reins shall rejoice when thy lips speak right things. Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long. For surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among wine bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh, For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Hearken unto thy father that begot thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Buy the truth, and sell it not, also wisdom and instruction and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child shall have joy of him. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his colour in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Think thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again.